After completing our Indian Ocean crossing and Red Sea passage from Thailand to Turkey, our port of call in Turkey was the Finike Marina, where we were directed to the quarantine dock for the official clearing-in process. This is where we spent our first night, but we were extremely grateful that our agent completed all the paperwork very efficiently, and we were then permitted to disembark and enjoy an evening stroll. It was wonderful to stretch our legs again, having not been allowed on land since we left Suakin, Sudan, on the 5th of March. Once we were secure in our mid-mooring berth the following day, it was time to assimilate ourselves with our new home and the large welcoming cruising community here. First up was a walk with a group of cruisers to the Saturday market. Besides the abundance of fresh fruit and vegetables, we couldn't resist the Turkish delight. And although we had tried the Turkish coffee, we were delighted to find a few Western-style coffee outlets scattered around town, serving baked delights, including what has become one of our favorites, baklava. Needless to say, we're actually working our way through the variety of baklava, which is absolutely delicious. Other Turkish delights we've enjoyed are the variety of freshly baked breads that they have, and these two are also really tasty. During our first week, Roy also enjoyed a hike high up into the mountains with a group of cruisers. 5 hours later, he eventually returned to Pawpaw, so he definitely wasn't expecting it to be such a long hike, but he said he thoroughly enjoyed it and the views were apparently spectacular. And the photographs are testament to the views. And while the flora was in bloom with the spring weather, he hadn't expected to see so many of these little guys around the place. So today is the 9th of April. We've had our first 9 days in Finike, and this is the Finike Marina, and it's very full, but we've actually enjoyed our first week. I'll just pan round. This is A dock that you're looking at. We're currently on B dock, and you can see how many yachts are actually here, and then the town basically is up against the mountains in the background, and those are the mountains that Roy hiked up yesterday with a group of cruisers. And then if we go the other way around, you'll see the snow is still on the mountains. That had melted a little bit, but I think we've got another dusting last night or the night before after a bit of a storm came through. But the anchorage is pretty well protected, so town is sort of in the distance where you can see the rooftops. So it's a short walk and very pleasant. It's an agricultural town. So today, being Saturday, was our second trip to the Saturday market to get all our fresh produce. There's nice coffee shops in town, nice restaurants that we've been to so far. It's actually been a good few days. So after we left the quarantine dock and got into our allocated berth, which was a mid-mooring, we then started the arduous task of getting Pawpaw cleaned, getting all the desert dust and sand off her, and we started with the exterior and eventually got round to getting the cockpit and the helm station cleaned, so at least we had our outdoor living area clean, we could use it. The cleaning activity took forever. The desert sand and dust was absolutely everywhere. There wasn't one piece of Pawpaw that didn't need to be washed and wiped down. One of the next tasks was for both of us to get a long overdue haircut. Once all the immediate tasks were out of the way, we were free to enjoy the little town of Finike. We were amazed at the number of walkways set amongst beautiful gardens, many only starting to bloom with the spring weather. Numerous tea gardens are scattered around where locals while away their morning or afternoon, and there are plenty of restaurants to choose from. We're definitely spoiled for choice. So this little restaurant has become one of our favorites. We actually had seen how popular it was with the locals, and it wasn't until we tried it ourselves that we understood why. Another one of our favorite restaurants, which we first visited with Kay and Lane of Mai Tai. The food was delicious. There are also a number of historic buildings that have been well maintained. Beautiful architecture. And being an agricultural town, there's this outdoor museum as a reminder of the town's history. Besides celebrating Easter and getting a few yacht repairs done, which are taking forever to be honest because our hearts aren't in it, we've also enjoyed a few happy hours. We've met a few furry friends, and we've also attended this Sunday afternoon barbecue that's organized by the cruisers. And that's been a nice way to socialize and get to meet the other cruisers in the marina. And what you see here is our passerelle, if you could call it that. It's more like just a wooden plank. And because we made mooring, we've never done this before, but Elaine managed to get us into the berth last week without incident. And this is what we use to get off Pawpaw. So that rope that spans across from Pawpaw to the dock is to help me from falling in. Time will tell if that's actually been effective or not. Our first attempt at this contraption wasn't the greatest, so Roy put it on a pulley system and we moved it to the other side. So we're down at the beachfront today, and as you can hear, the wind is howling once more. It's coming out of the west, so there's a lot of people supposedly leaving the marina tomorrow. I'm not quite sure how they're going to get further west with the westerly winds. But anyway, the sea's a gorgeous colour, and if I come round, you can actually see the surf today, which wasn't here the other day when we came out. It's certainly a little bit wild and woolly today. So today is the 16th of April, and it's a Saturday. We're out taking a nice stroll on a nice spring morning, and we're on our way to the market. So these are the gardens that we walk through. The main road, as you can see, is a little further on the other side of the canal, and then this is the canal, and we're basically halfway all the way along. See the mountains in the background, and if you look carefully, there's still snow. But yeah, very pleasant. Continue our walk, you can see that all the spring flowers are starting to bloom, all beautiful colours. So this is the start of the Saturday market. All the clothes. Roy's just got himself tracksuit pants and a sweatshirt. As we come around, you can see it goes on for forever. There's shoes, undies, clothes of all descriptions. And then as I come around this way, you can actually see the market itself. I'll zoom in a little later. So this is the actual fresh produce side. Flowers, the first time we've seen that. And loads of fresh produce. Really has everything that you need, and for really next to nothing, to be honest. Very good prices. More of the fresh produce, you can see the quality. The section of it. We're always off to go and do the actual shopping. I've just come to play. In the far corner are all the cheeses and honey and all sorts of stuff like that. Oh, and the Turkish delight. Huge jars of honey, and you can see a little bit more over there. And then if you zoom in, you can see all the olives that are on show. All the dried fruit and nuts. And you can see in the background all the cheeses. And this is the delicious different curry powders. There's the Turkish delights, and boy, they are a delight. Here's all the eggs, more olives, cheeses of any description. So here's another section of the market. A lot of this food we have absolutely no idea what it is. Anyway, all looks delicious nonetheless. That's dried fruit over there with nuts we can sort of identify down here. And that looks like dates and prunes, various other kind of nuts. We're always going to sample this type of dried sausage. It's a beef sausage. You actually cook it for breakfast, or you can put it in with potatoes and into stir fries. So we're going to give it a go. So this is another stall, and he's got absolutely every type of dried fruit you can think of, and nuts. And the smell is absolutely divine because they're actually roasting the nuts for you. It's delicious. So every time we go out for a walk, we always find something interesting. And this is a group of men. Looks like they play some kind of board game. Dominoes. Today is the 19th of April. It's a Tuesday, and this is a gorgeous spring day in Finike, Turkey. The wind is absolutely howling. Boats have been pulled in every direction, including Hawthorne. This is the strongest wind we've actually had since we've been here. It started this morning and it's still going on this afternoon. So we're just waiting for the call to prayer and the end of the fasting period. I've been trying to capture this for days now, and I'm ready tonight, so hopefully I get it. And there you have it. Fasting is over for the day, and people can now eat. This is obviously very different to what we had in Southeast Asia and the predominantly Muslim countries. It's a different take on it. So today we're on our first road trip. Roy's driving. We're driving on the right-hand side of the road with a left-hand drive, which is opposite to everything we're used to, and it's a manual. So it's going to be an interesting day. And there's the driver concentrating. And this is a coast road, or a coastal road, and I think at some point we're going to go up into the mountains. So these are the hothouses, being an agricultural area, and they do go on for miles and miles in all the flat areas of land. You can see they're on both sides of the road. There's hundreds of them, as far as the eye can see actually. And in between this is the citrus groves. Modern roads. These are the pine forests of the national park as we've got higher up into the mountains. Today's the 21st of April and we've come to Kemei to get our temporary residency permit, which we got this morning. And we're now taking a wander around the beach area, and this is the main beach attached to the resort in a public area. It's all stone, which is very strange. but very pretty with the mountains in the background. We got our Ikamat, which is our temporary residence permit, and we're celebrating with a coffee. Anything to say, Mr. Roy?
Yoo-hoo!
Yes. So more of the area with parkways and the little coloured huts, all kiosks selling jewellery and various other bits and bobs. Very pretty. So this is another marina that we found. It's called G Marina. Didn't know it existed, and actually would have been a nice option as well, because the town of Khmer is much larger, but it is a touristy area, so obviously it would be more expensive, but lovely anyway. While our lamb casserole lunch was delicious, we definitely knew we were in a tourist trap. So after a lovely day out in Khmer, we actually returned to Finike. We were back by mid-afternoon, but we got to enjoy the lovely scenery of the national park on our way back. With the wonderful scent of the orange blossoms and the flowers that are blooming, spring is definitely in the air. And we've enjoyed a few more walks and enjoyed the gardens that have come into full bloom. So we've been waiting with the warmer spring weather to see the roses that are all along this pathway in this garden. There's vines and rose bushes, and they've started to bloom. Beautiful colours. And here's the rose garden, the rose rockery, I guess. And you can see they're all starting to bloom as well, and they're all red, deep red. So as excitement mounts with each passing day, all that remains now is to pack our suitcases and jet off to see our loved ones, whom we haven't seen in over 3 years due to the pandemic.